A lot of times we get a question, what is this pain in my neck all about? Most likely that pain in your neck started out a while back. It started out as just some stress that led to some muscle tightness. Maybe some postural changes, how long you sat at your computer, how you were bent over working on some things in the garden. But those postural things and that stress gradually end up creating some muscle tightness, and those muscles gradually get shorter. And that shortness ends up creating increased pressure in through the spine, in through the vertebrae, the bones in your neck. What will happen then is that then you go to start to do something, you're exercising or you're reaching into a cabinet or whatever it might be, and that tension, that tightness that's developed here, that's running from your shoulder up into your neck along the line of those muscles, that tightness starts to pull everything closer together. And so then any kind of repetitive activity like emptying the dishwasher or carrying the basket of laundry back upstairs to fold it, etc., those things, those muscles are already short and they're put under this tension and it makes them get shorter. And ultimately what happens then is that tension and that shortness ends up leading to increased stress and pressure down through the spine. You start to get some pressure on the discs, and that pressure then from the disc onto the nerve, and now we get to a point where you really start to have that pain. So this problem that starts out as really muscle tension, muscle tightness, can either very quickly develop into pressure onto a disc or pressure onto a nerve, or it can take years for it to get to that point. But nonetheless, it's very easily prevented and very easily taken care of. So in the beginning, it affects you because your neck is just stiff. It's a little bit tight, it's a little bit achy, it's a little bit sore. No big deal, and we usually just kind of go on, and it lasts for a couple of minutes, it might last for a day, and it's gone. And then maybe it's back a week or two later, a month or two later, etc. Sometimes that will progress into a headache. And so those muscles all attach to the base of your skull and then they run down your spine. Well, when those muscles get tight, whether it's because of stress or the pressure or the pinching on the nerve, etc., they'll create a pull and they pull down on the base of your skull. And so that headache is a warning sign that things are getting a little bit worse. It can start to cause you to have this crick in your neck, and sometimes we'll hear a lot, I woke up and I just have this crick in my neck, or I can't turn, I'm getting this pinching feeling. Well, now what's happened is that problem has progressed, and so the vertebrae are actually pinching against each other. And that's what's causing the crick or the pinch or the more intense pain that you feel, is two bones in your neck are rubbing up against each other. Sometimes you'll get a sharp pain with it, sometimes you'll get this click or this pop that you feel with it, but all of that is that crick in your neck is the bones pinching against each other. That starts to progress into, I can't turn my head, I can't turn to see when I'm driving or changing lanes, because the space in between the vertebrae has gotten less, there's less room for those bones in your neck to move, and what will start to happen is it gives you that lack of mobility. As it progresses and it gets worse, it starts to turn into this pain that potentially radiates down your arm, into your hand, or it might radiate down to your shoulder blade, or it might radiate into your chest, because what's starting to happen is you're starting to get pressure not only on the bones, but now the pressure has also increased onto the disc and onto the nerve. And that's a sign that the problem is obviously getting worse, but that pressure onto the nerve is what's going to give you the more intense pain, etc. How can therapy help you with all of this? Well, the number one thing is we're going to be able to really assess and figure out what is causing those symptoms that you're having. More importantly, stop it in its tracks, keep it from progressing and getting worse. In most cases, it's gotten to a point where we need to do some manual things, some manual therapy to try to increase that space in between the vertebrae. Get the vertebrae further apart so that they stop pinching against each other. Get the pressure off of the disc and off of the nerve so that the symptoms come. Manually, passively stretch those muscles in your neck so that they are truly longer. And then the final thing would be working on strengthening all of the muscles that run from the base of your skull all the way down your spine to about mid-back, and getting those muscles to be stronger so that they hold your head. Your head is about a 10-pound ball that sits on top of your shoulders all day long. And if I asked you to hold a 10-pound weight all day long, probably wouldn't make it through the day holding that weight. The same is true with your head. The stronger those muscles are will really help everything in your neck to be more conditioned and stronger so that that pressure doesn't develop. Give us a call, click on the link below, we'll get you in, we'll get it figured out, we'll get you taken care of, and we will keep this from turning into a much bigger problem.